And we're coming back to you live from our homes. I'm Sean.
At times, Zach.
I'd say that's a solid end slate. Don't you
Oh,
think, Zach?
oh yeah. The people are gonna love it. I loved it.
People, I can't even believe. Do you realize that like our actually, you know what? I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay.
Our retention rate on our videos.
It's gotta be maybe 3 seconds.
Let's see. Let's see what we got here. YouTube Studio. Yeah, our average retention
Three
on our
seconds.
last video was on the last episode of Spice Nugs that came out was 1 minute.
Wow, that's better than I
No.
thought.
That's pretty good. But can you believe that most people don't even hear the glory, the majesty, the give me another word, Zach. Throw me a word.
The sublimity.
Thank you. Exactly. That is every single end slate. Because that's where we put our heart and soul into.
I
The rest of
mean,
the episode, like it can be pretty mediocre, but the
no,
end
it's
slate,
true. It's true. We always end on a banger.
even even when we don't, people commented on
We
it and
don't.
stuff.
Speaking of video statistics, I saw the other day that the absurdism episode and with like Freud and dreaming and stuff it had
Uh-huh.
like 20 views in the first like 2 days or something. I was like, what's happening?
It doesn't make any sense, man. There's no way to understand it. Wow, my ex-coworker Nicole commented on the last episode.
What? I'm sorry. What did we talk about in the last episode?
I think I complained about the UPS store, so she's just saying thanks for good to hear how it's
Ah,
going there.
yeah, let's go.
Like,
Wait,
wow. She still listens to this? That can't
what the no, no, no,
that can't
no.
be. Hey, Nicole, if you're still listening to ahead and go into the comments and type Nutter Butter Bites right down my kites. And then post that and I will respond with yes or best or boy jumps out and sees a toy. And that will be how we communicating.
That's a secret code to make sure that's actually her watching and commenting and not something. It's not a bot.
It could be a bot. It could be a bot with her name and profile picture. It's totally possible. I don't know.
I mean, let's be honest. We're kind of a big deal. We've gotten to that point where our comment section gets flooded with bots. And it takes a lot of work to moderate the comment section these days.
We need every video to have a like a thing that makes sure that like you have to click the I am not a robot thing just to comment.
No. Better yet, at the beginning of every episode, we tell the real viewers to start their comment with some random nonsense every time. So it has to start with that and then their message. That way we'll know.
That way we know. Those are the people who listen. The real fans, the people who care about us, and thus we care about them.
Only the people who listened really hard will know the secret code word.
The secret code word. Yes. Can you imagine like two spies like exchanging briefcases or whatever, you know how they do? And they're
Oh
like
yeah.
where they're waiting for the code word and they go up, they're like, Nutter Butter Bites. Write down your kites. Everyone's like, what the fetch?
I'm just saying, I wouldn't question it. I would say something back, just as cryptic, and then nod and walk away and hope it worked.
The bomb has been planted. Oh, what? No!
Just beep, beep, beep.
Is that what the Nutter Butter is? I don't want this. It is an explosion of flavor, Zach.
It's all coming together. It's all. Well, what does the kite resemble then, Sean?
The kite is the feeling of light and flying that you feel when you bite into a crunchy yet satisfying, salty and sweet Nutter Butter Bite. Go and get yours at your local grocery store, and use code "This is not a real ad" to get 1,000,000,000% off your next order.
I was trying to decide how to respond to this. Like, do I encourage this nonsense? Do I thank our fake sponsor now? And there was too many options in my head. It was just like the gears were grinding to a stop.
It's great. That's
But Nutter Butters, thank you for sponsoring this episode of Spicy Nuggs and Smash Bros. It's a joke. It's a joke. We wish, but it doesn't have to be a joke. Nutter Butters, hit us up.
No, straight up. I love Nutter Butters. Who doesn't love Nutter Butters? Zach, do you love Nutter Butters?
I don't have an opinion because I'm not currently sponsored.
That's a good take. You know what? The only thing that could make me love them more is if they would pay me money to say that I do.
True, dude. True. Man, let me tell you, if they did that, I would love Nutter Butters.
Now let me break this down for all you real Spicy Nugs fans out there. Though this is a reference only the true fans.
Oh man, I'm not gonna get it then.
Like, my current love for Nutter Butters is like a balloon stuck on a ceiling.
Whoa.
I believe that I have reached a peak, but there's so much further I could go if the ceiling is just opened up and I can float out. You know, the ceiling opening being the money flowing.
The sponsorship deals! Man, truly only the OGs will know that reference.
Indeed. Inspirational, really.
Man, if you guys haven't watched that episode, what are you doing here? How did you get to this episode without watching the first episode?
They said, wow, okay, there's so many of these Spicy Nugs videos. What I could go to the first one or semester 9, episode 5 or whatever.
Hey, I mean, they probably heard it was a banger of an episode and ended up here, so.
They must have heard something about the Ed Slate, you know.
Yeah. There's rumors going around. This is the best one yet. How does every single Spicy Nugs get to this point now?
It's just a self-fulfilling, self-creating prophecy. Like like we've created this, we continue to create it. It is like will always fall back because we are the ones doing it, even though what this is referencing itself. Oh,
I need you to calm down there. Listen, I already finished my schoolwork for the day. I'm done with work. The brain function is running on low battery right now.
Well, Zach, you better pump that thing. Take a butter because we're gonna have to think hard today.
Oh no! Oh no!
I've got a thought.
Oh,
I've got some.
Sean,
thoughts.
wait. Listeners, this is a rare moment. One of us came prepared to Spicy Nugs. But it's even rarer because I also had a topic if needed. But Sean, this is your day. This is all you, baby.
Sheesh! Look at these two! It's like they actually run a successful podcast for over 150 episodes or whatever we're at now. I don't really know. Sheesh!
Did we pass 200 yet? Or were we surprised?
Nah, we can't be past 200.
No shot. Unless.
Who even cares? Nicole cares.
Nicole, let us know in the comments down below after putting the code word in, so we know it's really you.
Make sure to go buy some Nutter Butters.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay.
John, you said you were gonna make me think today. Please do before I derail us even further.
This is gonna be tough, Zach. This is gonna be a tough one. There's a couple of issues with this topic. Let me lay this out for you, okay?
Okay.
Here, issue number 1. It could get like, pretty religious. I think it will. Although it doesn't necessarily have to.
Okay.
But because it can get pretty religious, we might, I don't want to say this, we might, we're dancing on the edge of things that we believe, I think. I think we're on the same, like, on the same wavelength, with a lot of beliefs in life after death and stuff like that. And that's where we're going with this.
Okay. Okay.
So, okay. So I started reading that book. That time management book, Time Management for Mortals. I talked about it like freaking forever ago that I had bought it, and I said I it, but I have like four other books to finish first, and I'm finally reading it.
Did you tell me about this?
I mentioned it briefly. I think it was even in an episode. Um, Basically, it's just a book about time management. Um, where he at the beginning he was talking about how like our very concept of how we view time is very different from how like people in the past viewed time. Does this sound
Yes.
familiar at all?
A
Yeah.
little bit. Yes.
I think we talked about it when you talked about how you clip your fingernails and that's how you view time.
Listen! Listen! It is a very important way to keep
And that's
track
okay.
of time! If anyone
think
else
that's
keeps
great.
track of
I
time in a different way, they're wrong. There, I said
Wow.
it.
Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
So, Sean, I want you to know, fingernail update.
Oh, please. Yeah.
I actually just clipped them.
Oh my gosh. So
They're
how many
feeling-
times before
they're
the end of the
feeling
semester?
fresh. You know, probably another 3-4 times. We'll see. Depends how fast they grow.
Hey, you keep us updated on that, young man.
I'll give you the fingernail update whenever I clip them. Sounds good.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
So,
time management for mortals.
management. So here's the basic idea behind the book so far. I have not finished reading it. I'm like maybe halfway, a little less than that right now, so I haven't gotten the full experience. Um, but his argument is basically this, that we as people are very finite beings. The 1,000 weeks, time management for mortals, because 4,000 weeks is the average lifespan of a person. You get 4,000 weeks, which is kind of startling to hear because it's like not really that high of a number if you think about it.
That's a weird way to put it. And I
Yeah.
don't like that. All of a sudden, my time's been reduced
that's-
drastically.
It feels bad, but he's like, so there's all of these like time management things, life hacks, where there's like this idea that like you're gonna save time, so you're gonna have so much more time to do or to do what you want to or other things. And his argument is none of that works. Is creating more time that you will inevitably fill. It doesn't matter that there's like his argument is like there's a jet plane and we created jet planes, and so arguably like because we can get from one place to the other so quickly, we should be much more relaxed. But like, can you think of a less relaxed place? Port like and then like the internet, like it's created all of these ways to save time. I can instantly message someone and contact them, but at the same time I'm receiving tons of information that I'll never have time to get to all of it.
Right.
um
Right.
okay, great. So that's like kind of the argument of the book. And what he's saying is that's actually a good thing. What we need to do is stop viewing that as a bad thing, because that's what causes us to like freak out and panic. He's kind of diving into some Buddhist ideas here where he's like, you're kind of attached to the idea that you're going to like live or you have enough time to do things. And maybe you just need to detach. You're going to create a big list of things to do and you're not going to accomplish them all. That's a fact. You have only so much time, so you will not see the entire world. You will not do every single thing you want to do. You just can't. And so his argument is, and this falls in line with a lot of stuff we've already talked spicy nugs. But like his argument is because you have a finite amount of time, the things you choose to do are ultimately much more valuable.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he,
Yes.
yeah, I knew you'd like that. So he talked about a guy we actually read in my nihilism class, which was helpful because it made the stuff he was talking about easier. And we talked about him on Spice Nugs actually when we talked about the value of nothingness. Um, and this is the guy who like thinks that you have to approach nothingness and look into it and hang out into it and feel anxiety, and because of that anxiety realize, oh, I could never have existed. Kind of amazing that I do it all. And so in that same way, like I'm going to die, I need to look at that and focus on it and be like, I only have so much time, and it's kind of beautiful what I choose to do with it, and I should just be happy with what I'm choosing to do with it. um okay, I'm getting lost in the sauce here. Let me break there. Let me grab your thoughts before I dive deeper on this.
Okay. No. It actually like reminds me of a lot of previous topics like we've talked about that like go along these lines. Like my first thought of was actually going back to um, 3 Days of Happiness, or I sold my lifespan for 10,000 yen.
I knew you'd think of that.
And but my immediate thought was actually of the part where they go and take pictures of vending machines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like and I don't know why that's the image that came to my mind, but it's like it's just like you said that there's always going to be the time that we're going to fill like with something else, right? Like whether we're actually saving time or not, it's like we're always going to fill it with something else. Like and like I feel like that's a great example. Like he didn't know what to do with his time, right? And so he decided we're going to go just take pictures of vending machines. But at the same time, he chose to do that, and so it's interesting. It even goes back to the idea of like maybe what we choose to do is with our time is the most important, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yeah.
and I like the whole idea is like I very much agree that is time is looked at in a very strange way most of the time, where it's just like you have to be doing something every second of the day or you're not achieving, you're not succeeding, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've always very strongly disagreed with that notion. Um, but I feel like that is almost like a like you said before, like we're never going to achieve every single thing we want, and so it's the we have to like be aware of that and be okay with that, and then chase the things we really want.
Yeah.
Initial
Yeah,
thoughts, yeah.
absolutely.
That's all I got.
That's great. That actually, I think that leads us pretty well into the more difficult question. I've actually been kind of grappling this like all of last week when I went to Lake Powell. I've been kind of pondering this in the and when I've had downtime, just been chilling or whatever.
Okay.
So the argument that you just said you agree with to a point, and I think we both agree with this concept, at least on a baseline, is that because we will die, because life is fragile, there is meaning and beauty in it.
I agree.
And specifically meaning and beauty in the things you choose to do. Would you agree with that statement,
Yeah,
right?
no, absolutely.
Okay. Then here comes the harder question. Then on the flip side, arguably, a life that never ends is meaningless. Like you're not sacrificing something, you're not sacrificing time to choose to do something. You have unlimited time.
Well, I don't necessarily agree. Um, so I feel like that. Here's the problem. I immediately me trying to make sense of this was like, what's the scenario? Like, am am I the only one outside of time, or are those around me also outside of time?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because that plays a very important role, right? Um,
Right.
because even if I am timeless, if the people I care about aren't, then there is absolutely beauty in that, especially with me choosing to spend like my time is almost more important to me because where I can spend as much time as possible with the people or the things I care about that won't be timeless.
Hmm. Interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've I've been man, I'm not sure where to move with this line of reasoning. Um, just because like obviously from a certain standpoint, like I believe, um, or maybe like I hope for like a kind of life after death. I do kind of hope for that. Um, and I hope for some things in the future past just this world. Um, even though, and like again, I want to stress, like I love the argument that this world is beautiful because it will all end. Like I like like does that those thoughts like does that invalidate those thoughts because like what if the next thing is just so much better and like life is just eternal so like nothing here even mattered at all. um yeah it's I
I
don't have I don't have a straightforward way of thinking about it. Please, sorry.
I have a few thoughts. The the first thought is it almost goes back to the Buddhist idea of impermanence. Um, and even let's say life after death, moving on to something that let's say is just a way better than the experience we have on Earth. I think one there is because you're not in that situation anymore. I think it's I think it'll almost be like a nostalgic beauty.
Hmm. I see.
Um, and then like who knows, like things could like going into the like the afterlife, like I'm sure that like even that won't be like the final thing, right? Like there's I feel like even like I feel like the situation is always going to be impermanent and ever changing, just like
Hmm.
in the Buddhist philosophies, and so there's going to be a new beauty to discover, but there's also beauty in knowing you won't be in that situation forever.
Huh.
That's
Huh.
like an initial thought. And then there's also I feel like this definitely goes more religious, but I also feel like there is and this is even like a beauty in like you could be seen in this world today is the I feel like there is a certain level of beauty in showing others beauty, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
Whether that is through knowledge or creation or anything, I feel like I feel like even that I feel like goes back to like things being impermanent in a way. But then at the same time, if life is eternal, like then it's not. It's ooh. I
What?
need
Yeah,
give me a
it's
minute here.
interesting. You're good. What you said there, and it mirrors what your very initial reaction to this was. Um, basically, like if there is some permanent or eternal being, and is with non-eternal beings, then almost in a way, from what you're saying, the how do I phrase this? The the value and meaning and beauty found in life is through the non-eternal ones, either by showing them beauty or by them showing it beauty through their non-eternal lives. Is that like
No, I kind
Whew, that was
yeah, no, I kind of like that. And then like just like I'm like taking that even a step further is like go like there is that even if you're not living that anymore, there is that nostalgic beauty of things being an impermanent part of existence and finding beauty in where you currently are. Like
yeah, I guess because like when we say eternity, like that means it lasts forever, but that doesn't mean everything around you lasts forever. And that doesn't mean that things don't continually change, like you said. And so it's the experience of that eternal being, seeing the constant change and growth around it, as well as potentially within itself. If we can assume that growth can happen to that eternal being, then that is where the beauty lies.
this is okay. This is kind of crazy because like you like when I have thought of this like you have like opened up ideas in my head that I've been like, oh yeah, this is just what I expect it to be like, but like I've never really like voiced it out loud. Like it's just like an impression I've
Okay.
always had. But like, with my idea of eternity, it's like the like kind of like what you're saying. Like, I have never had the fear that because um one day I might be eternal is that I will be like stagnant.
Hmm.
I've like I've always just had this assumption that there'll always be something to do to keep going forward with, to
Hmm.
whether that is
And I want
I don't know.
I wonder if that's like from our, we were raised in the LDS church and like the church is very pro like eternal progression. That's
Yeah.
a fun phrase. Like, but like that's a phrase that like gets thrown around and like you think you have an idea of what that means. Like, how does that apply to the realm of gods? Like what does that even mean? How does a god progress? Is that not already perfection? How can you progress without imperfection? Um, and I don't know. Yeah, really interesting.
I mean,
Yeah,
I even
good.
think we're I'd go far as to say as we're not supposed to know, right?
Mm,
And but at the same time, I'm okay with that
mm.
right now. Like, I don't know.
There was a quote. What you just said made me think of this. Um, I agree. I have to know. I don't think we're supposed to know, and I'm okay not knowing, because of this. It made me think of this. So from in Sophie's World, there was a quote where someone said, "If the human brain was simple enough that we could understand it, we still wouldn't understand it, just because we
Hmm.
wouldn't be as smart or as complex of."
Huh.
And so, in that same way, like if eternity and the concept of being an eternal being was so simple that I could understand it now as the idiot that I am, it probably wouldn't be that great.
Well, I even think like we can understand the. I mean, I guess this is even arguable, but like the extent of eternity. But like I feel like even though like, we like talk about eternity, I feel like it's always going to be at least a bit different than what we imagined, right?
Right.
Um, and it's like we're just gonna. It's just, I gotta wait and find out.
Read and find Raffo, baby. We just got Brando Stando. Whew. Okay, Well, thank you. I needed to talk out those thoughts, and I was like, man, I always talk about death with Zach. How do I talk about Zach? Oh no.
Hey, well, you know what? Death is only the beginning
Uh-huh. Wow.
to the eternity in which I will never be stagnant.
Exactly. And in that eternity, guess what? You can go on down to that merch store below and buy some juicy merch. That merch, that's an eternal stuff right there. You know what else is eternal? The sweet, salty, tasty taste of Nutter Butters.
Just think of the beautiful nostalgia you will have for both Nutter Butters and that merch you bought from the merch store. Right down in the link below.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. I'm still Sean,
And I'm still Zach.
and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
Spicy Nuggs, Spicy Nuggs is our friend. Spicy Nuggs, Spicy Nuggs is our friend.
Maybe do that one more time.
He's bored and he's gotta record, yeah. Let him go and record, yeah.
That was.
Goes throw the cat out the room, yeah. 'Cause he's a boy and he's gotta record.
Is that the outro song?
That's just a song, man. That's just, songs can just be songs.
No, Sean, songs have to have a purpose, like giving us YouTube money.
Just we have to have a purpose, even though in truth none of us do.
It's true. It's true. It's the world's greatest lie.
Yeah. Yeah. Zach, what do you think what's your purpose, even though you don't have one? What do you think your purpose is? Talk me through it.
I know I've done a lot of thinking about this, and I think I have come to the conclusion. My purpose is to be the biggest disappointment I can be to those around me. And so far, I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I don't want to brag.
Now, the problem is because I have an expectation for you to be a disappointment. If you do well at being a disappointment, then you're actually succeeding in my eyes. So you're not being a disappointment in my eyes.
Fetch! Sean, I've decided to no longer be a disappointment. I'm going to be the greatest person this world has ever seen.
You're a disappointment.
Yes. Yes, let's go.